insights, picks, results. This is Wizard Sports Picks. Beyond the Lines.
Welcome to another edition of Beyond the Lines presented by Wizard Sports Picks for Sunday, December the 7th. Ian Cameron back with you, and we're here to talk some NFL Week 14 as we get closer to the end of the regular season. We'll talk about 3 games on this edition of Beyond the Lines for NFL action on Sunday. Before that, I want to remind everybody, check out wizardsportspicks.com. Get on board with daily premium picks available on the website from our talented array of handicappers. It's been a great run this week for me on the website. We are on a very strong 14-6 all sports run. We are number 1 ranked in the NHL this season at wizardsportspicks.com. It's been a phenomenal hockey season overall, over $1,000 of profit on a $100 per unit basis. So very happy with the way things have gone in the NHL. College basketball, we're having a profitable season. NFL, we're having a profitable season. So lots of good things happening at wizardsportspicks.com. And yes, I'm doing well, but it's not just me. I mean, we have some great handicappers there. We've got tons of the cappers on the website in great form. Kevin Thomas, Brian Bittler. There's just a ton of great cappers that are doing a great job. Tom Macrina, Joey Tron, my buddy Matt Robinson on the Ice Guys. I mean, it's just a lot of handicappers in very good form right now on the website. So make sure you get to wizardsportspicks.com and make sure you check out the premium picks available from everybody on the site on a daily basis. All right, let's get into NFL Week 14. Let's begin with one of the big games on Sunday. And there's multiple games on Sunday where you got 2 division teams to divisional foes facing off for first place in the division. We got 3 of those, and this is one of those games. We've got Indianapolis taking on Jacksonville with first place in the AFC South on the line. Right now, we see Indianapolis 1.5 to 2-point road favorites in this game in Jacksonville, 46.5 the total. Now, there is a chance of showers, 80% chance of showers in Jacksonville on Sunday for this game. There won't be much wind. To me, when it comes to totals, wind is a much bigger detriment to overs than rain. I'm much more concerned about wind, and wind won't be a factor. It will rain a little bit, but it's not expected to be, a downpour either. So we will see how it translates into affecting these 2 offenses. I'm going to recommend a side and a total in this game. Indianapolis is coming back down to earth. They've lost 2 in a row. They're still a pretty good football team, but it's 2 things. A, they're not playing as well, and B, the injuries have really accumulated for the Colts on both sides of the football. They've lost back-to-back games against Kansas City and Houston. I don't think they played particularly well, even in beating the Atlanta Falcons the game before that. So you could say that it's been a struggle here of late for the Indianapolis Colts. We'll start with the Jacksonville offense. Trevor Lawrence, been an up-and-down career. Last few years have been a struggle. This year, though, it's been better from him, and I like what I've seen from him the last few weeks leading this Jaguars offense. 25-3 win over Tennessee. They made so many mistakes, Jacksonville, against Arizona, but found a way to win, and Trevor Lawrence's leadership on offense, giving them and putting them in position to get the game-winning points in overtime helped. They had a great offensive day against a good Chargers team before that. If not for, collapsing in the fourth quarter against Houston, this team would be on a 5-game winning streak right now. So Jacksonville's playing well, still 4-1 in their last 5 games entering this one. What's been the difference with the offense? Well, they're blocking better up front, and I really think the addition of Jacoby Myers has mattered here in the last few games. They added Jacoby Myers at receiver. They've obviously had Brian Thomas battling injuries. Travis Hunter's been out for a while now. So it's been one of these situations where they had some issues at that position in terms of depth. Jacoby Myers has come in and he's played quite well at receiver for Jacksonville, given Trevor Lawrence another option, which is good to see. And they've been running the football well with Travis Etienne. And there's a chance they're going to be able to run the football well here in this game. Brenton Strange, too. We have to point him out. His emergence at tight end has been a big deal as well for this Jacksonville offense and has really helped them out. The key, though, is can they run the football? And when you look at this Colts team on the defensive side of the football, there are some serious injuries on that side of the ball. DeForest Buckner, a guy that's a great player but can't stay healthy. He's out. Sauce Gardner, who they got from the New York Jets just a few weeks ago. He's now week to week with an injury sustained last week in the game against Houston. So some key injuries on defense for Indianapolis could open the door here for success on offense from a Jaguar offense that's played better in recent weeks. Then you flip it around to the Jacksonville defense, and they're playing quite well the last couple of weeks. They've played certainly better football. Look, at Tennessee's offense is not very good, but still they completely shut them down. You got to give Jacksonville's defense a little bit of credit for that. And Indy's offense just does not have that same pop we saw early in the year. Daniel Jones is, give him credit. He's playing through a fractured fibula. It's got to be painful. It's got to be tough for him to play through it. But you can see it's clearly affecting him. He's not running the football as much as he used to. It's really hampered his mobility. He's just not being able to take off. He's kind of a guy that when the pocket collapses, he can't escape like he used to because of that injury. And that's not good because the Jaguars have a good pass rush. We know that. Josh Hines-Allen, Trayvon Walker, guys that can get after the quarterback for this Jacksonville team. And with Jones' mobility limited by that fibula injury, that's a real concern here. And they're just not running the ball as well with Jonathan Taylor, who's had a great season. And now they face a Jacksonville team that has been great all year, very good all year, stopping the run. So I've got concerns about this matchup for the Colts. They're not playing their best football. They're battling injuries. Jacksonville's playing their best now and peaking at the right time. And Indianapolis has had no success, none whatsoever, here in Jacksonville. They have not won a game against the Jacksonville Jaguars here in Jacksonville since, I think it was 10 years ago, the last time they won a game here in Jacksonville, 11 years ago. It's been a long time. This has been a house of horrors, a haunted house, if you will, for Indianapolis. I think it might be that way again here on Sunday. I will take Jacksonville +2 as a home underdog against Indianapolis. I'm also going to take over 45.5, -115. 45.5 is the best number with the total. I know there's going to be some rain in the forecast, but I think Jacksonville's offense can have some success here in this game, and it's going to obviously force Indianapolis to be aggressive, and I think they can contribute enough even with some of the concerns about Jones' health and obviously the strength of the Jacksonville defense being able to negate Jonathan Taylor a bit. I still think this game can get up and over the total, and series history dictates it can. 5 straight meetings between these AFC South rivals have gone over the total, and I think we've got a chance to see the same here. So Jacksonville +2, over 45.5 in this battle for first in the AFC South between the Colts and Jaguars. All right, our next game, New Orleans, Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay, 8.5-point home favorites. 41.5-42 is what we're looking at here for the total in this game. The Tampa Bay offense, man, it's been a moving, tons of moving parts for the Tampa Bay offense. There's no question. I was stunned Baker Mayfield played last week. He had the sprained AC joint that he suffered in the loss to the Rams on that Sunday night, but he played through it. And you could tell he was battling. He wasn't great. The offense wasn't great, but certainly, battled, persevered, and found a way to win. He should be healthier this week. Definitely, from all indications, Todd Bowles, head coach, has said he does expect Baker to be a little bit healthier this week. And when you look at this New Orleans team, they get torched in the secondary, and that is going to be a real big problem that they are going to have, considering they're going to have to deal with Emeka Egbuka and now a healthy Chris Godwin for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So I think the Bucs can pick on that Saints secondary here in this game. And then, the run defense for the Saints had been decent, but, in their loss to Miami last week, Devon Achane had a field day, just ran the football right down New Orleans' throat. And that's a problem here. Bucky Irving back in the lineup now for Tampa at running back. And might be able to have some success running the ball, given how much the Saints could not stop the Dolphin rushing attack last week. So if they're a balanced offense, Tampa Bay, they should be able to put up points. I would expect that from them here in this game. Meanwhile, the other side of the football, the Tampa Bay defense, even in the win last week against Arizona, there were still times that Jacoby Brissett and the Cardinals were moving the football down the field, and there are still, some issues on that side of the ball. We haven't always seen a consistent pass rush from Tampa Bay. We've seen them kind of carved up at times as well, both on the ground and through the air. Now, it's a work in progress for the New Orleans offense. There's no question about it. Tyler Shuck, he had a great game against Carolina a few weeks ago. He was terrible against Atlanta. Last week, it was a struggle early, but he did, get things rolling a bit later in that game. But the Buccaneers defense just isn't great. I mean, they are bottom 6 in the NFL in EPA defense, in the last calendar month. Not good. They've been really porous, like I said, in the secondary. The pressure rate has gone way down. They're not really getting after quarterbacks, Tampa Bay, right now on the defensive side of the football. So if Tyler Shuck has a chance to set his feet, find some of his targets down the field, let's not forget, Chris Olave is healthy again, and there are still some good weapons for him to work with here in this New Orleans Saints passing attack. So I'm liking this game over a very modest, very low total. We're seeing this total at 41.5 in some spots, and I think both teams can contribute enough to the scoring here in Tampa Bay to see this game go up and over what's a very, very reachable total. So I will go with New Orleans, Tampa Bay over 41.5 in this NFC South division matchup. The final game here on this edition of Beyond the Lines in NFL Week 14 action on Sunday, and it's a big one in the AFC. The Cincinnati Bengals taking on the Buffalo Bills. Great quarterback matchup, obviously, is the headliner here. Joe Burrow and Josh Allen going head-to-head. Buffalo 6-point home favorites. 53.5 is what we're looking at for the total in this game. Cincinnati, very, very, very impressive win last Thursday night on Thanksgiving against Baltimore. Baltimore screwed up a lot, no question. But you got to hand it to the Bengals, because the Bengals, for the first time, that I can remember, we actually saw some defense from them. We saw them forcing turnovers. Almost couldn't believe what we saw, from the Cincinnati Bengals defense last week in that game against the Baltimore Ravens. But give them credit. They were galvanized by the return of Joe Burrow. They realized if we beat Baltimore, we've still got just a glimmer of hope. The door opens ajar just ever so slightly for us to maybe still compete to make the playoffs and even win this, mediocre, and that's what it's turned into, a mediocre AFC North division where Pittsburgh is struggling right now. Baltimore's not dominant, even since getting Lamar Jackson back and a lot of their key defenders back. They still have not shown that degree of dominance. All of a sudden, there's an opening here for Cincinnati. And I think they realize that. And I think there's a little bit of positive vibes and energy back in this Bengals locker room again. And I think we have a chance to see that here, coming into Buffalo. Now, the great news for Cincinnati is they won that game despite Burrow not being at his best. You could tell, from being off for so long, he wasn't at his best. He was missing some throws that normally he would complete and make. But like I said, I think when you look at this Bills defense, yeah, they played great last week, but I can't stress enough how miserable the Pittsburgh Steelers offense was. Rodgers was terrible, couldn't run the football. Pittsburgh's offense has had issues much of the last several weeks anyway. They are really going to have their hands full, I think, this Buffalo remember, this Buffalo defense has had some problems. Haven't been able to stop the run either, And I know Cincinnati, doesn't always rely on the run game, doesn't always run the football well, but I think they can get Chase Brown involved here in this game. And now Jamar Chase, T. Higgins is going to be back from his concussion to give Joe Burrow another weapon. So I think Cincinnati's going to move the ball on this Buffalo Bills defense. On the other side of the ball, obviously, we've got the Buffalo Bills offense. And it's hard to envision what's going to happen here because we saw that offensive line get just pulverized by Houston 2 weeks ago. Josh Allen was just treated like a human whoopee cushion in the pocket. Last week, with 2 starting tackles out, both the left and right tackle for the Bills did not play, Deion Dawkins and Spencer Brown. We thought, wow, they're going to have a lot of problems against this Pittsburgh pass rush. The Pittsburgh pass rush, you couldn't find them with a telescope on the football field last week. TJ Watt, where the hell was he? Couldn't find him with a telescope on that field. There was no pass rush. And Buffalo's depleted offensive line just pushed around Pittsburgh start to finish in that game. Ran the football like crazy with James Cook, Ray Davis, and company. So it was stunning to see that. But let's not forget, this is still an offensive line that's going through issues. Now, they will get Dawkins back, the left tackle for this game, which is a good piece of news. But still, we got to see it. And Cincinnati's defense, let's give them credit, they were a little bit better. I'm not asking the Bengals to be one of the elite defenses in the NFL. I'm not asking them to be the 85 Bears. But they did take a big step in the right direction, considering how awful they've been all season. I thought they were a lot better last week against Baltimore. And all they have to do is get a stop here, a stop there, force a key turnover at a key moment in the game, give the ball back to Joe Burrow and their offense, and let them do their thing, because we know their offense is good, and Burrow's only going to get better with more starts under his belt returning from that injury. I think this is a competitive game. And I think Cincinnati truly feels, with them beating Baltimore and then seeing Buffalo do them a favor last week, beating Pittsburgh, it's not totally dead, this dream of them coming all the way back from oblivion to win the AFC North Division. So, and again, Buffalo laying these kind of points as a favorite, even though we know at home it can be a very tough place to play. This is also a Bills team that their home ATS record hasn't been, up to par, compared to what we have seen in past years. You look at Buffalo entering this game, their home record is 5-1. But Tampa Bay, they covered that game, but life and death. They did have the win against Kansas City, but again, they lost to New England at home outright. Didn't as a favorite. Didn't cover it against New Orleans as a big favorite at home. Didn't cover against a bad Miami team at the time at home. So they haven't been that dominant ATS team on their home field this year. I think getting the 6 with Cincinnati, I expect them to be in this game. And I don't know if the Bills have that level of dominance right now. Last week they did, but Pittsburgh's got a lot of problems right now. Cincinnati, I think there's some good football coming up from this team. Hopefully Zach Taylor gets out of the way and just lets the players do their thing. He's not my favorite coach. He's made some head-scratching decisions. Game management's been in question a little bit from him as well this year. But I think there's some real positive momentum for this Cincinnati Bengals team right now. And I wouldn't be surprised if they give Buffalo a game on Sunday. So we'll take Cincinnati +6 against Buffalo for my final selection here on this edition of Beyond the Lines. That's a wrap for this edition of Beyond the Lines. I'm Ian Cameron. Again, check out wizardsportspicks.com. There's so many great handicappers and so many of them in great form right now. Get on board with some premium picks daily over at wizardsportspicks.com. I'm Ian Cameron. Thank you for tuning in. Hit the like button on the way out. Enjoy NFL Week 14, and good luck with all of your wagers. And thanks for watching the Sunday, December 7th edition of Beyond the Lines, presented by Wizard Sports Picks.